Hello guys, Mr. Chocolate King. You saw the title of the video. How King Ghidorah could return for the next film. Or how we can get like a Mecha King Ghidorah. And this is recent news to me, cause I thought the whole Mecha Godzilla thing was just done. I thought it was not Mecha Godzilla. Yeah, the whole King Ghidorah saga was over. I thought it was done. I thought there was nothing else to go into. I thought it was gonna go into like some other Toho monsters or whatever rights Legendary can get the rights to. But no, apparently there's still more. So if you guys haven't read the novelization of Godzilla vs. Kong, you want to get this insight on what actually happened or how I can make this video. But apparently, now besides from the King Ghidorah cell still being active, which it still was inside the King Ghidorah skull, which I question why even tear all that flesh off if it's still active, or why didn't it regenerate if it could, or they could have tried to manipulate its genetics to regenerate. But apparently, according to the novel Godzilla vs. Kong, Rin Serizawa is still alive somehow, some way, and it's implied that King Ghidorah has taken over his body somehow, or just mentally put his consciousness inside Rin Serizawa. And also there was some further insight onto Rin Serizawa as a character himself. If you didn't know, according to the novel, he despised his father for being caught up on his work with Mechagodzilla. Well, not Mechagodzilla, with Godzilla, not having enough time to spend with him. And the whole reason he joined Apex and Watchers is not to just purely kill Godzilla. He thought by killing Godzilla that he will somehow make peace with his dead father, who sacrificed his life to kill Godzilla, which even made, but the whole him sacrifice for Godzilla made him even more mad. So it's just one of those things where it's just he thought he'd get some type of closure from it, from killing Godzilla. And on top of that, look, what makes the entire thing even better is the fact that he kind of saw Godzilla like a brother, in a way, which is a new perspective on the whole, I'm gonna get revenge or something because you killed my pappy. A new perspective and everything. So I like that aspect. I thought he was just gonna be the usual, I just despise Godzilla because of my father, but no. Apparently he saw him like a brother, which is put a whole new perspective on it, in my opinion. But with the whole Mecha King Ghidorah thing back on subject, and the fact that pretty much that King Ghidorah has pretty much controlled Rin Serizawa's body after he fried him alive. We couldn't put, and on top of it, including the fact that someone got to clean up the body of Mechagodzilla, and someone got to clean up the skull of King Ghidorah, which in my opinion can only imply Mecha King Ghidorah can still show up inside the monsterverse because his cells and DNA is still alive. Obviously, his brain was still active inside the King Ghidorah skull. So that only can mean one single thing. Mecha King Ghidorah is pretty much all but confirmed, and if they were to manipulate some Godzilla and King Ghidorah genetics, we could easily get some Mecha King Ghidorah action there. Possible. Sure, King Ghidorah is a space alien, so there's no guarantee that the G cells from Godzilla will interact with the Godzilla cells. Sure, there's no guarantee on that. But it is an obvious way for a Mecha King Ghidorah, and not Mecha, I keep calling him Mecha King Ghidorah. It's an epic way for King Ghidorah to return. Since the fact that in some way the novelization is confirmed in a way, but novel canonization besides from the comic books, I don't know about that. I don't know how which is more canon. Like is it all the extra details from the novel makes it like is it both simultaneously canon, and the fact that the novel has some things that was just cut for the film, or they're just two separate things. But in this case, if it does prove true that King Ghidorah has taken over Rin Serizawa's body, and that's why when Millie Bobby Brown's character went back to the whole control center, he wasn't there. And if he takes control of Apex and take the King Ghidorah skull and the leftover remains of Mechagodzilla, you could easily have a Mecha King Ghidorah. Now, how would they regenerate his body is still a question, because sure, his cells does regenerate, and it does go more in depth on how Rin Serizawa had his body basically had Mechagodzilla get possessed by King Ghidorah, and like how his cell turned back on and things like that, and how it just started overwhelmed with over 1 million years of hatred for Godzilla through Rin Serizawa's mind, so everything just blacked out. He saw an image of his father, and then that's all she wrote. Rin Serizawa was gone. So I thought he was just dead in the chair, but apparently he's not. Apparently, somehow, King Ghidorah done pulled the Captain Ginyu and switched bodies with Rin Serizawa. Not switched bodies. Killed Rin Serizawa's main consciousness and took over his body that way. I do believe Rin is dead, as in like Ren is dead as a person, and it's just King Ghidorah taking the main ribs of the body now. It's just kind of tragic, but hey, he signed up for this. Walters didn't want to wait to test it, and he could have just said no and just walked away. When Walters said, no, we're going to do this, we're going to activate Mechagodzilla now, you could have walked away. You didn't want to walk away, so that's what you get. And also, Mechagodzilla apparently had some pre-built-in action programs, and that's how instantly when King Ghidorah took over as well. I thought because he was like interacting with Ren, and like since they were Ren was using his brain to control a kaiju, that it's because of that, and he was getting experience through that. No, apparently on top of that, it was always some programs. It's like it was pretty much already a move set already built into the program of Mechagodzilla. So Mechagodzilla showed up, he just went ballistic. Not cool in the fact that Godzilla went 3 rounds with King Kong and came out the victor. So it wasn't going to end well for Godzilla that night either way. Well, that morning either way. So it's just one of those things where you just can't win them all. You just can't win them all. Unless you got some backup to win that last one. Because going into round 4 and 5, that was Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, and Godzilla and Kong versus Mechagodzilla. Rounds 4 and 5, that was still getting beaten like if it wasn't for the humans, they would have got killed, both of them. Because that's the massive beating I've ever seen Godzilla take on screen. That was vicious. That was just. It was to a certain degree criminal, the way like King Ghidorah was just treating Godzilla, and the way he just dragged Godzilla through the dirt. That was just despicable. But yeah, so those guys who were saying, you can get what about it's gonna be Mecha King Ghidorah is still a strong possibility for it to happen. It's not just a what if so dream. It's still completely possible for it to happen because number one, King Ghidorah's cells are still active. 2, Aplex cybernetics have been exposed for Mecha King Ghidorah, so they can easily show up and pick up the leftover body parts. As far as I know, Millie Bobby Brown character informed her father, who works at Monarch, that it was Apex this entire time, on which, depending how fast Apex can move on the scene, they could easily pick up the Mechagodzilla parts, pick up the King Ghidorah skull, and just go on with that. Or maybe we're gonna have a King Ghidorah sample, and that way they can manipulate the cells with some skin crawlers or G cells from Godzilla himself, and trigger King Ghidorah's cell to regenerate somehow, and then manipulate whatever's left over into a Mecha King Ghidorah. That could still happen in my opinion. So yeah, in my opinion, Mecha King Ghidorah could easily show up with that whole extra novel context. If they both simultaneously are canon in the movie and a novel, that could easily happen. And that'll be interesting to see how that would work. Would it just be another Godzilla film? Would it be a Godzilla and Kong tag team? Because I would like to see both of them on screen again, but I don't want to see them every time Godzilla shows up, that Kong must immediately shows up afterwards. I don't want something like that. They work together. Sometimes they just don't want to deal with each other. That's the way it should be, in my opinion. Which is funny how it's funny how Kong goes to Hollow Earth. He says it's his home, but Godzilla is he's just still on Earth, and he has no interest in going home at all. He's just there. I'm content with where I am. That's all it takes. I know that's all he wants. He's fine where he is. But yeah, that's pretty much been how King Ghidorah could return for the future movies. Well, Mecha King Ghidorah, 'cause I don't think, with his brain not being fully connected together or fully active, since they did incorporate him into a Mechagodzilla AI system, that they won't be able to fully regenerate King Ghidorah because of that. Because I said if they just try to regenerate him from the head, just with the Kevin head, they'll be like, alright, they could try to fully regenerate him. But the fact that they took so much flesh out, and there's only a few segments of brains, in my opinion, I do believe they're going to need to do some genetic manipulation to be able to properly, fully regenerate a full body of King Ghidorah. But I just believe he's going to still be missing like a head or like some legs or something. I don't think they'll be able to fully regenerate him because of that. Maybe, yeah, because it could be like that one head, maybe like an incomplete leg, and everything else could be wings, like the actual Mecha King Ghidorah. So, in my opinion, it could be something you easily see. Obviously, like Godzilla vs. Kong was a massive success, even during the pandemic. So if the MonsterVerse does continue, I'm interested in what could happen. But me Shockwave King, what do you think about the whole new Ren Salazar plot lines? And also for the EPO fans, it will be going back to the regularly scheduled programming. This is just something I had to get off my mind, something I had to get off right away. But yeah, I am curious what how future MonsterVerse will happen. Cause it's amazing how just always instantly a new monster shows up. Destroyer! It has to be Destroyer. Calm down. We can save Destroyer for later. We don't gotta blow our load yet. Just hold on a few moments. Just hold on. Just hold on. Just calm yourself. Destroyer will show up when he shows up. We don't need to break our necks for Destroyer. I'm not cool with the fact that there was a post-credit scene that was supposed to hit out that Space Godzilla. I don't know how Space Godzilla would have formed. Maybe he's going back somewhere to the Titan War when the Titans were like ruling the planet. Back when King Ghidorah, Godzilla is going out there, and you have some that say, "Oh, Godzilla got a son." I just think that's just a juiced up iguana, to be honest. I don't think that's Godzilla's son, because if it was, there'd be no point of him starting off on all fours at all. It's not like a chimp situation where it's just like they can walk on fours if they want to for a short period of time. I believe Godzilla always been bipedal and never quadrupedal in my opinion, so it's been one of those things where I don't see that as Godzilla. Because of course, how would that Godzilla even stand up with his legs like that? Well, how would that kaiju stand up with his legs like that? So it's just, in my opinion, I don't see that's Godzilla's son. But it could just be an Easter egg towards him. It could be. But who knows? Who knows at all? But that's been Shockwave King. You guys like the video? What do you guys think about the whole future of King Ghidorah and the MonsterVerse? And yeah, been Shockwave King. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace.